Okay, hi everyone, welcome to the July question and answer video. I am a bit late, it's, what date is it? It's August the 7th, so we were a week into August, so I apologise for being a bit late posting this video, but I have been pretty busy with your 31 days of August workouts, which seems to be going well so far, so I'm pleased about that. And, I'm learning with this membership site as I go through, so I'm really excited to be bringing you new content, and it's a bit of a different model to what some of the other equestrian sites have. So I am sort of playing it by ear at the moment. So because the idea of the membership site is that for a nominal amount of money, so it's £5, so I guess around $10, you can have the advice from me, and I can give you videos and workouts at much lower cost than it would be to hire a trainer or hire me as a program. So you just have that. It's really so that you've got some inspiration, some motivation, something to read or watch when you're doing your cardio, or something to give you ideas, because sometimes when I'm doing a workout, I just don't want to think about what I have to do. I just want someone to give it to me, and this is the idea that I give you information, I give you recipes, I give you things that you can just do them. Obviously, it doesn't give you what you would get from a program or a bespoke program, but hopefully it will give you something. So the idea of the 31 days is that it's really good value for money for clients. You're getting 31 days of workouts for £5. They're obviously, I'm not asking you to commit to doing 31 workouts in 31 days. That's pretty crazy. So some of you may well do that, and that's entirely up to you. And the workouts don't necessarily follow an order, so there isn't necessarily a program behind it. It's just different varieties of workouts that I thought that you might benefit from. Some more strength-based, some home-based, some mobility-based. And if there's something that you particularly like, the best way to make sure you get more of it is to comment. And you can comment to me. You can say, really like the core workout, more of these, or like the high-intensity ones, or prefer the long videos, or just whatever, because I want to put content on there that makes you want to come back. I don't want to put stuff up there that you don't want. So you let me know what you want, and I will do my best to make it happen. And then I got a fair few questions today. They're quite generic, so I'll try not to ramble too much. And I know I watch videos like this when I'm cooking, or folding my laundry, or doing my cardio. So hopefully you'll find somewhere to fit this in. So the first question is, what in my opinion is rider fitness? I think this is a really good question. And I think you're going to get different answers from different people. Rider fitness to me, so first of all, when I think about a rider, there's different disciplines to start with. So what I think is rider fitness is going to completely depend on the discipline. Generally speaking, a rider needs to be able to have enough fitness to offset any fatigue metabolites that are exerted by their discipline. So they need to be fit enough to cope with that. They also need to generally be able to keep their shoulders, and obviously this doesn't go for drivers, vaulters. There's a question of disciplines that won't fit into the category. But generally speaking, they need to be able to keep their shoulders over their hips, regardless of whether they are seated or unseated. They still need to be able to keep a straight line in that torso when they are being displaced randomly. And that is the key for me. They have to be able to have a good reactive core strength, reactive core stability. So it's no good being able to hold a 4-minute plank, but the second someone pokes you, you fall over. You need to be able to quite quickly be able to understand that something has changed and to be able to cope with that. And it's quite difficult to train for that, but it can be done. And that is, very simply put, what I believe rider fitness is. And to go into it a bit more, I believe it's offsetting any rotation, the cross sling, so any of that X frame, any anti-rotation, any asymmetries in the same side of the body, because sometimes you might see hip hiking, hip dropping, shoulder rolling, any tightness, kind of rehabilitating any old injuries, making sure that the limbs are independent of the core as much as they can be, so making sure that you've got good scapular stability, good glute activation, good glute stability, so that you can move one limb without the whole body having to follow. And those are the main things that I look to improve when I'm working with any rider. Typically what I see is, right trap being overactivated, and I see tight hips, tight chest, and these are things that, yes, come from riding and come from being general life, and you tend to see it in most people. Obviously, we are dominant in either hand, or most people are obviously right-handed, but we do get left-handers and ambidextrous people as well. We get the same with the limb dependent, so we tend to see similar patterns with most people. And also, typically, we tend to see people that are weak down the back side of their body, which is referred to as the posterior chain, and that can refer to the upper back, that can refer to the lower back, particularly the glutes, hamstrings, and down into the calves, the gastrocs and the soleus. So we see this kind of weak, elongated back half and this tight, kind of hunched forward front half, and that is typical of most people and of riders too. So typically I work posterior chain, glute activation, scapular sort of activation, and making sure that the stabilizers are strong, as well as the global muscles, because there's no good in making you really strong in your like global movers but not focusing on the weak ones, because then you're going to get things like rotator cuff injury, you know, like wall socket sort of like irritation. So that's what rider fitness is to me, but to me it's very independent of how many horses you're riding, your lifestyle, what equipment you have access to, your motivation, what you enjoy. And a lot of people will come to me, they want a rider fitness program, but they also want a general weight loss, look better program too. And that's really important for me to know, because if I'm programming you to be strong in your glutes, that isn't necessarily going to help you lose weight. And that's the first thing I say to people. You know, I'm not suggesting anybody needs to lose weight, but for women, it's generally something that we're always looking to do. And so I just want to make sure that if that is something you want, that it's clear to me. So rider fitness it's not as simple as one thing. Yes, you need a good core, but you need a good core for everything. Like, I do believe that the core should be a focus of a program, but I also believe that we get a little bit obsessed with it in our sport, and we kind of, it's like good having a strong midsection and nothing that can like support the midsection. So I do believe in like a holistic package, and typically I tend to do total body training programs, but there are the odd occasion where I won't, and that is completely dependent on person's situation. I might do like a push, pull, leg split, I might do body part split, because at the end of the day with our sport, any type of training is going to benefit you as long as you're not limiting range of motion too much and compromising flexibility and mobility. And so, you know, if you want to do a bodybuilding, like I'm doing a bodybuilding split at the moment because I'm trying to improve the way I look, just because I don't have any horses out here and I needed a training goal, and that's something that I'm like working to at the moment. Is it going to make me a better rider? It's not going to make me a worse one. If I have a better glute strength, total body strength, you know, scapular stability, like there's nothing in the program I'm doing that is going to make me a worse rider. So is that rider fitness? Not specifically, but it's not going to make my riding worse. Is it going to make my riding better? There's probably more specific things I could be doing if I was riding regularly that I would do if I was riding regularly. But understand that specifically at the start of your rider fitness journey, any type of training within reason is going to benefit you. So pick something you enjoy. Okay, what should I do to improve core stability? Oh, so much you could do. Obviously, there is non-resistance based stuff that you can, non-impact based stuff that you can do on the floor. So you can do like Pilates, yoga based stuff. You could start to improve and include an unstable surface, so like a foam roller, Swiss ball, Bosu ball, anything that requires single limbs, so one arm, one leg, is going to improve core stability. But there's also things like, and stability and strength is like an interchangeable term. Stability is something that really comes from learning. I really believe that the reactive core strength comes from being in a dynamic situation, and that's where riding lots of different horses is really good for you. And it's something that I've always tried to include within my training. You know, if you own one horse, every so often make sure you have a riding lesson on a different horse, because it does challenge you. You know, you get used to riding the one horse, and I do believe that riding multiple horses makes you a better rider. And certainly before I was backing my youngster, I had a baby before that, and I was conscious that yes, I was strong, but I wasn't reactive, and that's why I rode lots of different horses to try and include that. And there's other things you could do. I talked about it, I think I posted about core stability actually just recently, and there's other things that you can do. For example, lots of box jumps, plyometrics, because that kind of reactive core, lots of trail running where you're running over different ground can be good for core strength and stability. So yes, do like slow controlled movements, but also try to add some dynamic, like that. So if you, like, for example, like if you set up 2 cones, you could run to one cone, lie on the floor, get up, one cone, lie on the floor. Having to constantly change the direction that your torso is going in is going to improve the stability. And I talked about in another video adding bands around your trunk or around your hips, and then getting somebody to just wobble you when you're doing squats. So you're doing normal up and down squats, and then randomly someone's just wobbling you about. That is going to be really good for like core stability. So if you can get a friend, even just hold hands. The only thing is I don't like you to really do it with your hands, but you could almost like get your friend to hold like your waist. It doesn't have to be bands if you don't have bands. Just like move you around when you're not expecting it, and it's funny and it's fun, and something that you could do as a warm up before you get onto ride, for example. Even things like getting people to throw you a ball. So practicing your like squat movements and getting someone to throw you a ball, and then you have to throw it back whilst you're thinking about your form, whilst you're practicing your balance, and then having to work on hand-eye coordination, reaction time, dynamic core stabilisation, those sorts of things. Okay, why would I need a bespoke program versus one of your 30-day challenges or your event fit programs? Okay, so a bespoke program, in my opinion, is the best way to ensure your program is going to be effective. Because if it's not effective, I will change it. So you're there, I'm your coach, I am one-to-one working with you. I have a certain number of clients that I can work with every single month, and I will work with that person. I ask them to check in with me on a Friday. I want to know their goals. Are they riding related? They don't have to be riding related, they could just be general running, it could be anything really. And I want to find out what the goals are, about them as a person, what motivates them, what they're not like very much. So I like to see progress. So I like my coach, I have my own coach too, and I like my coach to say to me, you're working really hard this week and I'm noticing. And I'm like, oh, I like it. It's nice to know that somebody is noticing your hard work, especially if you're not progressing at the rate that you want to progress at. So bespoke programming, the programming is completely done on you. I will look at your posture, your movement pattern, and if your movement pattern in your squat, you're coming down, like let's say your chest really leads, well, that indicates to me if your chest leads and your feet are on the floor, then what happens when you're going over a jump? You probably lunge forward, because that's what happens when you're stable. So for goodness sake, what's going to happen when you're unstable? So for you, I might get you to do like a front squat that keeps the chest up. I might get you to do an overhead squat, and then work on different types of squat. Whereas in my 30-day program or my event fit, I don't know that about you. I don't know who these people are like downloading the programs. So I'm writing a program that is very generic, and it will work based on a typical rider. But a bespoke program is specifically for you. So if you lift your heels up when you lunge, we'll work on that. If you have really tight hip flexors, we'll work on that. If you have low back pain, we'll work on that. If you have heart problems or lung problems, whatever, we will work on it and make you a better, fitter person and rider. So that's why they are better, because you can WhatsApp me or message me or email me on a Friday and say it's too easy, like it's not doing anything, and I'll say, well, what's too easy, and then we'll tweak it. So it's never going to be the same. So you pay for the month, and if after a week you know that something is either too hard, too easy, boring, you don't like it, whatever, we can talk about it and we can change it. So it's completely bespoke to you. And I think you're effectively getting one-to-one training for £70 a month, which you're not going to get going to a gym. So it's pretty good, I think. Will I be releasing any other programs? Okay, so I've released the 30-day challenge and Event Fit Phase 1. Event Fit Phase 2 is so nearly ready, and actually I do need to kick myself for that. I just need to video a couple of videos and then I need to get it up. But because of the gym I'm in, I've had trouble videoing it, so I'm going to go to my other half's gym and video the last videos. And they're just a little more complicated because there's lots of different types of jumps that I need to include, so I need no one else there really, so I can video it. So Event Fit Phase 2 will come, and then I plan to launch Event Fit Phase 3 at the in the autumn. But you let me know what you want. 30-day challenge is, I didn't think it would be, but it's actually my most popular program. And I am thinking, and I've said this for a while, and these things in your head, you think you're going to do it in 5 minutes, and the reality is it takes months to do these things. But I was thinking about doing a core training program, something specifically for core, because even though I don't believe you should solely focus on the core, it seems to be what a lot of you want. So you let me know what you want and I will design something for you. Okay, the next question. I do not want to go to the gym. What kit do I need at home? Totally depends on your goals, but as I have got a blog actually on equipment, I'll try and link it here. It's, well, personally what I have in my home gym here in Canada. In my UK gym, we have a whole garage gym, but here I literally have a balance ball, Swiss ball, whatever you want to call it. I have a set of 10-pound dumbbells, which I would like a selection, but because I go to the gym, I don't need it. But you want light, medium, heavy, and that is going to change throughout your program. Good place to start is sort of 5, 10, maybe 15 pounds if you're a bit stronger. I have a resistance band kit, and it comes with the different types of resistance bands, different strengths, and it also has a door anchor, which is amazing, and I've got videos on it, so you can have a look through those, especially if you're a member, you'll be able to look through the back content. And it goes in the door, and then you can do lots of pull exercises, and it's attached to the door, so you can do lots of, you can do like flies, you can do like rows. It's really good. I would definitely, and they're like not expensive at all, and you can get them on Amazon. A yoga mat. I would encourage a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball to like do self massage on tight areas, particularly the chest, traps, glutes. And then a foam roller is a good one to have because you can like do some self massage, or you can use it as a like to help you with the instability training. This isn't really a question. Well, it is a question, but I am fit, but I don't look fit. Why? Okay, I don't know an awful lot about you, whoever you are asking this question, but you can be fit, and remember that fit is a very generic term, depends on what you class fitness to be. You can be fit and not look fit. I'm going to insert a photo here, it's pretty embarrassing for me, but I don't want to share it on Instagram or Facebook. I've shared one on my own Facebook, but not necessarily on the EventFit page, but at the moment, so I would class myself as a relatively fit person. I've done triathlons, half marathons, I've done mud runners, obviously ride, lots and lots of stuff. But I never looked the way I wanted to look. And there is a type of training that you can do to get that aesthetic body. It doesn't necessarily mean you're fitter. Probably just means you hold a little more muscle mass and a little less fat mass. And I used to, when I first started running club when I was in my early 20s, I used to think, oh, that's all right, there's lots of overweight people here. Definitely not going to be a back. And blow me, all these overweight people were absolutely ragging me and running up so much faster than I was, and that made me realise at that point never to ever judge somebody on the way that they look. And the reason you don't look fit might just be because of the way that you're training, what you're eating, you know, the way your hormones might be processing, you know, the way your hormones are being processed in your body and the way you're holding fat in different areas. So I can certainly help you out with that if that's something that you want some help with. I'd be happy to take a look at your diet and take a look at your training and see if we can come up with something that gives you that sort of aesthetic image that you're looking for. But yes, you can definitely be fit and not necessarily look fit because, you know, you can hold fat and still be aerobically very conditioned. How do I design my own program? Is it complicated? In my opinion, designing a training program can be very complicated, and you can make it as complicated and scientific as you want. How do you design my own program? It depends on your goals. I use like a tier system, so I work on what's most important. So I might say that I always want to include a push movement, a pull movement, a legs movement that includes an anterior and a posterior, and I also want to include something that includes scapular stability, glute stability, and core. And they might be the things that I always include in my program. I did try to, in this book, Training for Equestrian Performance, I wrote 2 book chapters, one on sort of like exercise physiology and one on training. Let me find it for you now. You can probably hear the Jungle Book upstairs because my kids are watching Jungle Book this very evening. Training. No, that's nutrition. Here we go, training. No, that's not it. Hold on. Oh, here we go. Principles of Training the Rider. So, this is one of my chapters. Talks you through some of the science, and then it goes on to what periodization is, So what you're trying to do with training, like why you need rest, why you need to train, how the body adapts to training. It talks about how you cycle it. So when I'm training somebody, because the difficult thing for me is some people will just sign up for a month, want a training program for 1 month, and then they want to leave, and that's fine, but they're not getting the best. And that's why I kept the price as low as I could, because I want people to come back each month. Because for me, if I know that you've got a competition in 6 months, I can plan now where I want you to be within 6 months, and it's based on a periodization cycle. So I know that in 6 months I want you to be at your peak fitness, and then I can work out how I'm going to get you there. So I do mini cycles, which are called mesocycles, so like 4 to 6 week blocks, and then I might say for this 6 weeks we're going to work on aerobic capacity, this 6 weeks we're going to work on speed. This obviously probably not for a rider, but so for you I might be working on improving your strength, and then close to competition it might just be skill and coordination. So I talk about that, and then it does sort of give examples. So this is a more complicated version of what I would do with someone. If someone said to me, I definitely want to work with you for a year or 6 months, and I'm gonna pay for 3 months now and then 3 months later, I could design you like a block like this, which looks more complicated than it is really. But you can see that the training goes up in the off season and it comes down when they're doing all their competitions. So their competitions are all these yellow things. So I would be able to design you a program based around your goals and your training goals. Don't have to be competitive. And then it does have an example here of what I would get you to do in your horse and for you as well. So this, if you're gonna try and write yourself a program, this book is probably something that you want to read in terms of how you would go about the science behind training. Is it complicated? Yes, but you can make it uncomplicated. So if, for example, you're following the 31 days, you could choose to do, I'm going to put a push, pull, legs. You could just choose to do those 3 for 4 weeks. There you go, program done. Is it the best program? No, but it is a program. To be honest, I think I need more specific questions to be able to answer them. But you really want to work out what you're trying to achieve, and then make sure that the program is balanced. Upper body, lower body, pushing movements, pulling movements, legs, core, etc. Does EventFit, or do you design training programs for horses too? I haven't yet, but I could. I've got 2 degrees in equine science, and I have worked with riders both in therapy centres and via research, and obviously have my own horses and worked with other people. So I could if you needed me to, design a program for your horse, and that's something that we can talk about. So feel free to hit me up an email. So I hope you enjoyed listening to those questions. As always, if you have any questions for the month of August, post them either below this video or post them somewhere else, find them, or in the Event Fitters page on Facebook, and I'll be happy to answer them. They don't have to be about horse riding, they can be about general health, fitness, nutrition, anything you like really. And I really enjoy reading the questions and the emails that come in. It makes me really excited that people are engaging and that you have questions. So thank you so much for everyone that sent me an email or wrote a comment on the website or in the Facebook page, and look forward to hopefully seeing more of you after 31 days.